All right, good morning, everybody. Um, with the Patriots 25-6 win last night over the Buffalo Bills, that put a cap to week 8 of the NFL season. So that's 8 weeks. It's time going by fast. If you haven't already done your Christmas shopping, you might as well get started because the rest of this year is just going to fly right on by. It's going to be Halloween in a couple of days. Next thing you know, Thanksgiving knocking on the door. Then it's Christmas, New Year's. Then we gonna be off until um 2019. So we at halfway point of the season. Um, some takes from this weekend games. Some takes. Well, first of all, my picks. I did real good this week, but I wanted so much more. I did. I was 10-4, but I wanted more. I wanted so much more because my upset pick was Green Bay to beat Rams. And what happened? They had the ball, well, was about to possess the ball and go down and try to take the lead. And what happened? Fumble on the kickoff. Come on, Ty Montgomery. I mean, the Cowboys couldn't have got that lucky against Green Bay. I wish uh, we was that lucky for them to fumble the kickoff to win that playoff game. So that was my upset special. They was right there at the end, had a chance to drive for the lead at the end of the game and fumbled it away. And I also picked Minnesota at home over the Saints. And that's a messed up opportunity for Minnesota. Never mind my picks, because you held Drew Brees, to under 200-yard passing. You got to win. You had to win. And the big play in that game was the fumble by Adam Thielen when they looked like they was going in 4 points, either a field goal or touchdown, and they fumbled away. So that pretty much stopped their momentum. It's momentum. So what else? Okay, yesterday been some turnaround in Cleveland. They fired their head coach and the offense coordinator. Now, external discord was the explanation given by the owners and the general manager. He will not tolerate external discord, and that's fair. I agree with that 100%. It's just because you seen it, and if the offense, you gotta realize Cleveland offensive coordinator was the same guy that was in Pittsburgh. Okay, first of all, he have a very strong personality. Okay, Pittsburgh had problems with him, and to extent. So if you got somebody strong like Ben Roethlisberger, already won 2 Super Bowls, you know he had problems with the OC, Todd Haley. How you think he's going to be in Cleveland? So I think that was the best move that the owners could have made. Come to think of it now, because um, Hugh Jackson was at the podium a couple of weeks saying how he's the coach. I'm the coach. If I want to get in on the play call, I'm paraphrasing, then I can do so. So instead of you stopping it, Whatever it was, it's an internal thing between y'all. We don't know. It'll come out later. But instead of him stopping it, instead of at the podium saying he got the right to do to intervene if he wanted to, he probably could at least kept his job to the end of the year. But you didn't stop it, and that's what the owner was talking about. Um, the, the discord in the locker room. So you didn't stop it. So you have to go, and then he's not going to be rewarded. So he had to go too. So, and I'm saying that about Cleveland because I'm gonna go over my. Since we're at the halfway point, I'm gonna go over my some of my predictions that I made for the season, and we 8 games through. So I said Cleveland was gonna have 2 victories um, before the halfway point of the season, and they do have 2 victories, 1 tie, and then I mean field goal kicking for a team that been down so long like them to have problems at field goal kick. I mean they missed 3 field goals where they could be never have 4 or 5 victories at this point in the season if it wasn't for the field goals. So um, what else I predicted? Baltimore Ravens is sitting at 4-4. I chose them to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, so it's still hope with that pick. But they look like they descending right now. They look like they descended and fell off track a little bit. So then my other pick, I actually said Atlanta was going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl and win the whole thing. And I think right now they sitting at 2-5. So if that's going to be right, they got some work to do. Okay, so 10-4 could have been much better, but we'll take it. That's my best week of the season so far. As it pertains to these Dallas Cowboys that made some news yesterday, um, firing the offensive line coach. What is it, Paul Alexandra? We'll see. We'll see if that move made any difference. I mean, we'll see. I mean, even though the Dallas Cowboys haven't reached their 8th game, we still at the mid-season. So let me give a mid-season assessment. Okay, defense. Defense been playing well. Okay, the Cowboys have not been blown out. The amount of points that they allow each of their opponents per game, they still had an opportunity to win the game if the offense was better. I meant to check into something, but I'm gonna give assessment. Defensive line. I think their defensive line they done hit a wall. They started out hot, but they just they they just average right now. The 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 sacks are going down. Okay, it's never really no pressure off that. I mean, the Marcus Lawrence is he's not getting sacks, but he's working hard and he's getting a lot of pressure. And he's making tackles for losses. But it's never I don't know what's going on that right side. All the practice player and the smoothness that you see for Gregory ain't transferring on the field. It ain't showing up on the field. He's a smooth practice player. He looks smooth and real smooth, but it's not translating on the field. There's no pressure coming off that right end of the line. And then the interior, I meant to look up something, but the interior defense is taking a step back. The interior defense is taking a step back, and I don't know what's going on there. It was better pressure when Ross was in the rotation, and like I said, I apologize for not doing my research to see is he injured or was he even in the last game? But Irvin is taking snaps from him, so the interior need to buckle back down. The interior of the defensive line, linebackers, they doing well. I like the linebacker core. I like what they doing. I like the first round draft pick. He's shown that he can get deep down the field in the passing game. Um, Sean Lee was injured, right? And for the first time in a long time, it don't seem like the defense, forgot how to play football. So the linebackers are good. Defensive backs, Brown, Anthony Brown. Be confident in your speed. He have too much confidence in his speed, and you're supposed to be confident. And you're supposed to be confident if you're fast. But the reason I say that he's too confident in his speed, he's constantly looking in that backfield, and completions is being made like right in his face, right over top of his head, just like the Hopkins completion against Houston in overtime. I mean, he's in the backfield, and that ball is being completed right over top of his head. So I mean, he's a good cornerback. I mean, he's fast, but if he's gonna continue to be looking in that backfield, I think back to a game, I believe it was Thanksgiving, but I know it was against the Redskins when he was looking. There was no reason for him to even be looking. He in the backfield. Deshaun Jackson go right down the field, a long bomb for a touchdown. That was 2016, Washington Redskins. So he's still doing that type of playing, and that's always in the backfield. But overall, um, the defensive backs are doing well. So you go into the offense. I mean, I don't know what this coaching move if it's gonna help or not, but the offensive line is underachieving. They are underachieving. Um, Fredericks is out, but Looney has been more than a capable backup. He's playing good at the center position. So I mean, I don't know what the problem is at the offensive line, but they not playing that good. They're not playing well, and we'll see. We'll see. Wide receivers and tight ends. Um, C minus, D plus, maybe. they like non-existent. But then when you get to rating the offense, everything is interconnected. So if the line is not given the time, then the receiver's not gonna be open. If the quarterback ain't playing well, so the offense is kind of harder to grade. But the receiving game, most times the running game and quarterback play, it needs work, needs improvement. So we'll see if this offensive line coach change and bringing in a wide receiver, giving up a first round pick for him. We'll see. We'll see what this would do. I mean, I was wanting a coaching change. I wasn't expecting one to come off the bye week, but you know what I said I want as far as the coaching change. I want offensive coordinator, offensive coach with a spread offense concept. That way, it won't be no 7, 8, 9 man box stifling your running game if you got spread offense. And I continue to say that. But we'll see how the new receiver and how the new offensive line coach affects the overall offense. Because this is what we up against, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we up against. The Cowboys are currently at 3-4. Currently at 3-4. So at 3-4, you have a 17.5% chance to make the playoffs. So where they are right now, 3-4, 17.5% chance to make the playoffs. That's low. If you drop to 3-5, you have an 8% chance to make the playoffs. 8% chance. If you go to 4-4, you have a 31.6% chance to make playoffs. And that's stats from this model taken since 1980. So coming out of this bye week, you have to take care of business. You want to go up to 31.6% instead of fall down to 8%. So you need to come out this bye week. You need to take care of business at home against the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football. Come out, take care of business, and be at 31.6%. And currently, NFC, 16 teams, Dallas Cowboys is in 12th place. Top 6 make the playoffs. They're currently in 12th place. So it's we can talk about the past all we want to. Not going for it in Texas against them, not going for it. He was lining up and kick a 59-yard field goal. It's been so many long field goals been made this season outdoors. So if you didn't trust yourself to get 1 yard in that game against the Houston Texans, if you didn't trust your offense to get 1 yard, a 59-yard field goal could have been an option. I mean, this guy from Carolina, he's kicking outdoors. I mean, he's making 60 yards like it's nothing. So you look at that game, then you look at the Redskin game before the bye week. They had a defensive injury after Cole Beasley big play that put us on the Redskin side of the field. 52 seconds left, one timeout. So did the coaching staff access during the injury timeout? Who was that got hurt? Okay, what kind of play or personnel can we put in the game to possibly exploit this injury and get a big play? From that moment when they got to the other end of the field, Redskins side of the field, they was thinking field goal position, field goal. So you can't take that back. But right now, no margin for error. They are already You're already at 4 losses. 4 losses. No margin for error. You got to you got to finish this quarter out. Because remember we're saying you play these seasons in quarters. You got your first 4 games, second, four, third, four, then your last 4 games. You all are finishing up your second 4 games. You cannot be worse than 500 in no quarter. So you got to beat Tennessee just to be 2-2 for the second quarter and end up with a 8-8 overall record and give yourself a 31.6% chance. And then going forward, after you can take care of business against Tennessee at home, then going forward, these last 2 quarters, you can't afford no more 500 quarters. You're gonna have to win these last 2 quarters, either 3-1 or 4-0. If you go, for example, you go 3-1 in the third quarter and 3-1 in the fourth quarter games, then you'll end up 10-6. If you're not the division winner at 10-6, then you still got to worry about if the Panthers gonna end up 10-6, or the Seahawks gonna end up at 10-6. Or let's say you make it a 9-7. Are you gonna be at 9-7 with teams that beat you? So it's little margin for error at this time. So I will be back on Thursday to kick off week 9 with my picks and some Cowboy talk. And if you come along later and watch it, as always, thank you. God bless.